Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my Miami Dolphins at the New York Jets game preview. This game is going to be played on November 29th. It's going to be a 1 o'clock kickoff, and this is week 12 of the NFL season, 2020 year, and it's been pretty good so far. Dolphins are 6-4 to this point. Jets are 0-10. So it's a little good get right week for the Dolphins facing the worst team in the NFL at the moment, and not to trash on the Jets constantly, but after a loss like we had last week to the Denver Broncos, it's really good to have the Jets on the schedule the next week. So hopefully the Dolphins can improve to 7-4. But with that being said, we're going to talk about the ESPN matchup predictor. We have the Dolphins at 67.3% chance of winning, a tie being 0.3%, and the Jets at 32.5%. Now, when we look at the season leaders, Ryan Fitzpatrick added some numbers to his season-leading passing stats for the Dolphins. He has 150 completions for 215 attempts, 1,652 yards, 10 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. And then Sam Darnold leads the Jets with 112 completions for 191 attempts, 1,045 yards, 3 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. So not a good year for Sam Darnold at all. Obviously explains the Jets' record. Myles Gaskin leading the Dolphins still 10 carries, 387 yards, 2 touchdowns. Frank Gore, old guy, big old guy. He is leading the Jets with 123 carries, 447 yards, and 1 touchdown. Devontae Parker leads the Dolphins with 44 receptions, 523 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And then Jamison Crowder leads the Jets with 32 receptions, 425 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Now, before I continue on, the betting odds for this game is the spread is -7 for the Dolphins, +7 for the Jets, -300 for the Dolphins, +250 for the money line, and over/under is set at 44.5. Probably will go on the under on this one as well as we did last week. That one was correct. But let's talk about some injuries. Savon Ahmed, running back, he is out. Jakeem Grant, wide receiver, is questionable. Solomon Kinley, guard, he is out. And then Tua Tagovailoa, quarterback, he is doubtful. Then when we look at the Jets, Blake Cashman, linebacker, he is questionable. George Fant, offensive tackle, doubtful. Alex Lewis, guard, he is questionable. And then Chuma Adoa, he is doubtful. And then Patrick Awusalor, linebacker, he is on injured reserve. Now, both teams are on opposite spectrums. Dolphins are having a mildly successful season, and then the Jets are having an insanely underwhelming season. Obviously haven't gotten a win yet. Now, when we look at points per game, Dolphins are averaging 26.4. Jets are averaging 14.9. Points allowed, Dolphins are averaging 20.2, and the Jets are averaging 30.2. Total yards offensively, Dolphins are averaging 319.8. Jets are averaging 289.5. 225.4 passing for the Dolphins and 94.4 rushing. Then with the Jets, 190.9 passing and 98.6 rushing. Now, when it comes to yards allowed, Dolphins are allowing literally a decimal point from 400 yards, so 399.9. And then the Jets are allowing 408 on the dot. Now, when we look at pass yards allowed for the Dolphins, 265.7 with rushing being 134.2. Jets 296.3 passing and then 111.7 rushing. Jets obviously haven't won yet, so last 5 games have been all losses. And the Dolphins just got their first loss in the last 5 games. It was a 5-game winning streak the Dolphins were on. So that was the first loss in a while against the Broncos last week, 20-3. So it did not look good. And now when we look at the AFC East standings at this point, Buffalo is still in first at 7-3, Dolphins second, 6-4. Patriots 4-6, Jets 0-10. Dolphins really needed a win last week, and it's quite unfortunate. But let's start harp on that last week's game. Let's talk about this week's game because we're playing the Jets, and this may be Sam Darnold's possible last game as a New York Jet, especially with the high possibility of them getting the number 1 pick. Sam Darnold has had a pretty bad year, been supposedly battling injury. It's just not looking good for him in the Jets right now. They're looking like they're going to get number 1 pick and secure Trevor Lawrence as their next quarterback. But, with all that speculation out of the way, it's been an interesting week. Just around the NFL, lots of COVID-related news has been going on. Like the Ravens have 18 players with COVID, which is pretty insane. Their Thanksgiving game, the night game against the Steelers, got postponed to Sunday, and it's looking like it's not even going to be played at all this week. So we're going to see what happens with that. Denver Broncos, all their quarterbacks, all 3 of them have COVID. Jerry Jeudy actually made a little joke saying, I can play quarterback, let's see what happens there. And the San Francisco 49ers will no longer be playing at Levi Stadium because the Bay Area put kind of like a ban on physical contact sports, and it's looking rough right now for the NFL with relation to COVID stuff. But let's talk about Dolphins versus Jets. So it's Jets week, so Dolphins hopefully could win if we can beat these Jets, which I'm pretty sure we are, but I really hope that the Dolphins do. They need to run the ball effectively. The Jets are allowing their defense is pretty much doing the same thing as ours is. In fact, it seems like in some places we're allowing more stuff, but we're allowing more rushing, which has been a big problem for this Dolphins defense. So we need to do 2 crucial things on both sides of the ball in regards to rushing, and that is stopping the run and then running the ball very good. Tua will be starting this week. Yes, Ryan Fitzpatrick came in the last quarter because, one, Tua was getting destroyed out there. He got sacked 6 times. Okay, so I know his performance wasn't great, but at some point when you get sacked 6 times, you're not going to do good on offense. I mean, it's just the defensive line for the Broncos was just getting after him, and it's insane. It's insane that he got sacked 6 times in one game. But he's fine. I mean, he was already nursing an injury when going into this game, and now going into last week's game, and now he's still nursing it. But hopefully he could be good enough to get us a win over the Jets this upcoming Sunday. With all that being said, we need to run the ball efficiently. Obviously, Savon Ahmed being out is a big blow to us, but we have Matt Breida back, and getting rid of Jordan Howard is quite unfortunate at this point right now because we're kind of struggling with the depth chart of the running backs. It's pretty much Matt Breida and also Patrick Laird are the only 2 pretty much active running backs right now because Myles Gaskin is still on IR, so we'll see what happens there. Wide receivers need to step up, especially with Preston Williams on IR as well. Jakeem Grant has been stepping up quite lately, but we just need more. It seemed like nothing was really happening last week offensively. It was really pretty bad. But let's not harp on that too much. So, like I said, run the ball good, and then stop the Jets' rushing attack. And then secondly, for offense, we need to protect Tua. We need to protect him good because we can't have what we had last week with having him getting sacked 6 times. I mean, he was just getting absolutely beat down on. Then, defensively, we need to get after Sam Darnold, make him feel uncomfortable. Plenty of times you've seen what happens when we make Sam Darnold uncomfortable. He starts throwing turnovers, forcing bad throws, and the game just starts swaying into the Dolphins' favor. So we got to do more of that in order to get the win against the winless Jets, which I'm pretty sure they're going to get a win at some point in the year, but it cannot be this week because if we get the loss to the Jets this week, it's not looking good for the Dolphins down the line. Let's be real. But it's a little bit unfortunate. But what do you guys think of those Thanksgiving games? They were actually pretty bad. They were good at the beginning, and then both games kind of got some blown out at the end. So, and then I was really looking forward to that Ravens and Steelers game, but now pretty much the whole damn Ravens roster has COVID-19, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens there, how they're going to do postponement or whatnot. I did pick the Steelers to win that game, but it's looking more and more likely, if the game is even played this week at all, that the Steelers will win and blow them out. It's very interesting what's happening in the NFL right now. Seems like a lot of teams are dealing with COVID-related stuff. So, luckily, Dolphins, they've been dealing with some COVID stuff, but it hasn't been too crazy that, we're missing a group of guys, a couple guys here and there. I mean, mostly it's just been coaching personnel, and even then, when that was happening, we were still winning games. So, there's something there about the Dolphins being, a little bit resilient and successful with it. But playing the Jets this week, it's on CBS, and it's going to be a good time watching. Hopefully the Dolphins can get right back on track and keep going and progressing forward. Improve to 7-4, and speaking of our division, the Bills are playing the Chargers. So, you guys have seen it in my last couple videos. Chargers are not a bad team at all. I don't think they're a bad team whatsoever. But I think they're kind of unlucky, or kind of don't do well in holding the game in order to win it. Yes, I do think that. They struggle with closing out the games. They're a team that's kind of like right there, but can't get the final stamp of approval to get the win. So, if they could beat the Bills this week, that would be amazing for the Dolphins. Do I think it's fully going to happen? I don't think so. I think the Bills are a really good team, and they're going to continue their winning ways, probably against the Chargers, especially after taking that big loss to the Chargers to the Cardinals in the desert. A Hail Mary touchdown to DeAndre Hopkins. Quite a crazy way to lose a game. So I expect them to probably win this game, but this division, if things keep on going the way they are, it's going to come down the line to the last game of the year at Buffalo for the division. It's really looking like that's the possibility of what's going to happen. The Bills play the 49ers, Steelers, Broncos, Patriots, and then us. Obviously, they play the Chargers first out of all those games. But this season's going to be interesting down the line. But 1 week at a time, week 12, playing the Jets, and hopefully we can beat them by running the ball good, stopping their running game, getting to Sam Darnold, and protecting Tua Tagovailoa. And that's about it. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you tomorrow after the game.